Have you ever stopped and wondered how deodorants actually work? You spray or roll one on in the morning and somehow it keeps you from smelling like a gym locker room for hours. It almost feels like magic. But here's the weird thing. Deodorants don't really stop sweat the way most people think they do. In fact, some products only cover odor, while others actually interfere with your sweat glands. Today, deodorants are such a normal part of life that most people don't even think about them anymore. They sit quietly in bathroom cabinets all over the world, doing their job every single day. But behind that little stick spray or roll-on is a surprisingly interesting mix of biology, chemistry, bacteria, and even a bit of history. So how exactly do deodorants work? Why do we smell in the first place? And what's the difference between deodorant and antiperspirant anyway? Let's break it all down, right here, on History of Simple Things. Humans have tried to fight body odor for thousands of years. Ancient Egyptians used scented oils and perfumes to mask smells, while the Greeks and Romans bathed frequently and rubbed aromatic herbs on their skin. In many ancient societies, smelling pleasant was associated with cleanliness, health, and even social status. But modern deodorants didn't really appear until the late 1800s. One of the earliest commercial products was called Mum, introduced in the United States in 1888. It was basically a waxy cream people rubbed under their arms with their fingers. Not exactly convenient. Then in the early 1900s, antiperspirants became more common after scientists discovered certain aluminum compounds could reduce sweating itself. At first, people were skeptical. Early advertisements had to convince consumers that body odor was even a problem worth solving. Believe it or not, daily deodorant use wasn't always considered normal. But by the mid-20th century, deodorants and antiperspirants had become a huge part of everyday hygiene around the world. Here's the surprising part. Sweat itself usually doesn't smell very much. Your body has two main types of sweat glands. Eccrine glands are found almost everywhere on your skin and mainly produce watery sweat to cool you down. That sweat is mostly water and salt, so it's not especially smelly. The real culprit is another type called apocrine glands. These are concentrated in places like your armpits and groin. They produce a thicker sweat that contains proteins and fats. On its own, this sweat still doesn't smell terrible. The odor happens when bacteria living on your skin start breaking down those compounds. As bacteria digest the sweat, they release tiny, smelly molecules into the air. These include sulfur-containing compounds and certain acids that our noses interpret as body odor. So technically, when people say they smell sweaty, what they're actually smelling is bacteria feasting on sweat. And because everyone's skin bacteria are slightly different, each person's body odor can smell a little different too. Regular deodorants mainly target the bacteria and odor, not the sweat itself. Most deodorants contain antimicrobial ingredients that reduce the number of odor-causing bacteria living under your arms. Fewer bacteria means less sweat being broken down into smelly compounds. Some products also contain alcohol, which temporarily creates an environment that bacteria don't like very much. Then there's the fragrance component. Even if some odors still exist, deodorants use perfumes and scented compounds to overpower or mask unpleasant smells. That's why many deodorants come in scents like fresh linen, citrus, ocean breeze, or something with an aggressively masculine name like Thunderstrike. Some modern deodorants also include ingredients that absorb moisture, helping your underarms feel drier even though you're technically still sweating normally. So deodorants don't really turn off sweating. They mostly fight the smell-producing bacteria and cover odors before other people notice them. This is where many people get confused. Deodorants control odor. Antiperspirants reduce sweating itself. Antiperspirants use aluminum-based compounds such as aluminum chlorohydrate. When applied to the skin, these compounds dissolve into the sweat and form tiny gel-like plugs inside the sweat ducts near the surface of the skin. That temporary blockage reduces how much sweat reaches the outside of your body. Less sweat means bacteria have less material to feed on, which also reduces odor indirectly. Your body eventually clears out these plugs naturally, which is why antiperspirants need to be reapplied regularly. Many products today are actually combinations of both deodorant and antiperspirant, meaning they fight odor while also reducing sweat production. Have you ever noticed that nervous sweat smells stronger than exercise sweat? That's not your imagination. Stress activates apocrine glands more intensely, especially in the armpits. The sweat produced during emotional stress tends to contain more proteins and fatty compounds, which bacteria absolutely love breaking down. So when you're nervous during a presentation, awkward first date, or job interview, your body is basically serving a deluxe buffet to odor-causing bacteria. Ironically, the more anxious you get about sweating, the more stress sweat your body may produce. Deodorants might seem like simple, everyday products, but they're actually designed around a fascinating biological battle happening on your skin every single day. Sweat itself isn't really the enemy. The real issue is the bacteria that transform sweat into strong-smelling compounds. Deodorants fight those bacteria, while antiperspirants go one step further by reducing sweat altogether. And when you think about it, it's kind of amazing how much science goes into something most people use in less than 10 seconds every morning. From ancient perfumes to modern aluminum-based antiperspirants, humans have spent centuries trying to solve the universal problem of body odor. So the next time you swipe on deodorant before heading out the door, just remember, you're participating in one of humanity's oldest chemical experiments against sweat and bacteria. Thank you for watching. If you have suggestions for our next video, feel free to share them in the comments below. We'll be sure to give you an acknowledgement for your contribution. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the history of simple things. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more stories woven through the smallest details.